Here's Rineman in the Morning, on demand from 102.1 and 105.3, The Shark. It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
This weekend was the start of daylight savings, the only savings many investors still have left. Financial experts say we may be on the verge of another banking crisis. I knew I was in trouble when my bank teller was wearing a ski mask. On the bright side, it is highly unlikely you will see a run on any banks, as that would require Americans to run.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning. Now on Rineman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, what's going on?
So I compiled a list.
You're a little out of breath there. What happened?
I was laughing because right before we went on air, you said Monday the 13th, and for some reason I thought Friday the 13th. I don't know. It made me...
Is Monday the 13th even scarier? It might be,
Honestly,
right?
Mondays are scarier than Fridays.
Why are we scared of Friday the 13th? It's Friday.
You tell me. I don't make the rules.
Did you ever have bad luck on Friday the 13th?
Not to my recollection. How about you?
Yeah, one year when I was in 8th grade. Here's what happened. Roger Clemens left the Red Sox. Celtics lost at the buzzer. I sprained my ankle on some ice. And our cat knocked over the Christmas tree. All in one day. Friday the 13th, 1996.
That's insane. I honestly, I commend your memory because I feel like I have the worst memory. I was doing that thing where you scroll through social media posts that you posted like years ago.
Bad idea.
I was doing that and I was looking at some of the things I said and I'm like, this was a hilarious incident and I completely forgot about it. I've already forgotten what it was again.
It's also a good idea to go through those posts and maybe delete a few.
Yeah, you ever get those Facebook memories where it was like, when you were 12, you said this, and for me it was
No, Megan, I don't get the ones when I was 12.
Well...
that would be like around the day that the Christmas tree fell over. That's when
fair.
I was 12. What's going on the Shark app?
Remember when the Fox Run Mall had all kinds of stores that it no longer has today? You may be inserting a store in your mind. There may be a place you're thinking of. So I compiled the list of 22 stores from the Fox Run Mall, or the mall at Fox Run, if you will, that locals miss. And the one that comes to mind for me is Justice, because when I was like 11, 12, that store was like my jam. There are pictures of me on my probably 11th birthday with shopping bags from there with my friends, because that was my happy place.
What was Justice? What did they have?
It was like clothing for tween girls.
Yeah. Actually, it won't be long.
Very niche market.
It won't be long before I'm dragged along to do that. But, they also have some really good local businesses at the Fox Run Mall right now. They're opening up. So some good stuff to check out. It'll be interesting to check out that list. And maybe if someone's thinking of opening their own local business, they could do something similar. Go fill that void, right?
You could.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Ted Lasso, back this week. Time to pretend to like soccer.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
One of my favorite restaurants around this area, Big Bean, is opening a new location in Exeter. And I'm so stoked about it because everyone needs to experience just how awesome Big Bean is. Have you ever been?
No, I haven't. This is the second time in 2 days that someone's talked to me about Big Bean, so I got to go check it out. What do they got over there?
They've got everything. So I'm always inclined to say they're a breakfast place because I've always gone for breakfast, but they actually serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they have separate menus for it. And
interesting.
They have trivia nights, live entertainment. They got a little bit of everything. They're sort of like a multi-purpose. They have a full bar.
Wow.
The fun doesn't stop.
Oh, that's kind of cool. So it's like, so if someone was going out on a date or something and they're like, let's just get coffee, but you could do it at night, right? Because it's always kind of weird. Like, when do you get coffee? Because like when someone's like, let's have coffee, I don't have like coffee at like 7 p.m. It'll keep me wide awake for days at a time.
That's why I always have first dates as like Saturday morning coffee shop style, because I feel like a first date.
That's not why, Megan.
Dinner.
It's because you think everyone's a serial killer.
This is coming from the guy who was encouraging me a few days ago to like watch true crime.
Yes. Well, yeah, but fun true crime.
Fun true crime.
Popular crime of the 90s.
Define fun true crime, because my experience with true crime is like grisly murders.
I'll tell you my favorite true crime. It was the guy in Manchester, New Hampshire that went in to rob a bank dressed as a tree.
Okay, that's a good true crime
story. You can
story
read about
right
that right now on the Shark app, shark1053.com. No one got hurt. He gave up the money, and he gave us lasting memories. It's fantastic. D.B. Cooper, that's my favorite national one. Do you know about D.B. Cooper?
I don't.
Stole a bunch of money, jumped out of a plane, and no one ever saw him again.
Wait, maybe I did hear about this.
And then, he jumped out of a plane in Washington State, and he landed in the woods. And you know who I bet he landed on? The guy dressed as a tree.
Probably.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Last night was the Academy Awards, which means yet another snub for Turner and Hooch. The winner for Best Picture was Everything Everywhere All at Once, while the winner for Worst Picture was My Aunt Linda's Christmas Card. The Oscar for Best Supporting Actor went to Ke Huy Quan, to which John Travolta said, "Not even gonna try."
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Well, we've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com, and Megan has questions.
Well, I honestly don't have questions, but I just want to give my regards to you for giving some words of wisdom for my fellow sober sisters and brothers out there.
Oh, good.
For St. Patrick's Day. Well, I myself am not necessarily sober.
I was going to say.
You know what it was? I'm a big fan of alliteration. So that was the first thing that came to mind, and I thought of being witty and cool. But in all honesty, I don't drink as much as your average Granite Stater, which is why I feel inclined to link myself in some ways with people like yourself who don't drink at all. But in all seriousness, I appreciate you giving your regards and giving some words of advice for St. Patrick's Day when I know people tend to go a little cray-cray.
Yeah, I love St. Patrick's Day. I mean, that's the thing is people, when you say, I don't drink, they go, but you don't like St. Patrick's Day. I love St. Patrick's Day. I don't drink. I'm the daytime part of St. Patrick's Day person. So, yeah, and I actually do have like some things, like some traditions. There's a couple movies you can watch in there that are really good to watch back to back. They got a lot of St. Patty's feel to it. Some music you can listen to. Everyone thinks like, Dropkick Murphy. No, there's like a world famous band that really got their start by coming over here to Boston and then the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom. They're from Ireland. That's all I'll say. And they owe a lot of their success, they've said, in New England. And some other cool things that are St. Patrick's Day traditions, like the Shamrock Shake at McDonald's. There's some New England roots there, big time.
Dropkick Murphy's is the only acceptable route, though.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. My little brief story time. So I went to Nashville last summer with a couple of my girlfriends, and we did what was called a pedal pub, which is almost like it's like a little bar on wheels where you're on a bar stool. There's like a counter, and you have little bicycle pedals around where your feet are, and you pedal, and someone steers. Someone who's an employee, not just a random drunk person steering. But we were driving down the streets of downtown Nashville, and the woman in charge found out that my friends and I were from Greater Boston, so she started playing Shipping Up to Boston like as loud as the Bluetooth speaker would go.
Well, that is a cool song, but there's other things you can do. But I mean, okay, who you taking? Dropkick Murphys or U2? Well, we can both agree on one thing. They're not bagpipes.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Marcus Smart gets ejected from game. That's a red card for green hair.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
It's Rineman in the Morning. I played a clip of an interview with Hugh Grant on the red carpet at the Oscars last night. Everyone's upset with him today. I'm not that upset. I think he didn't do anything. I think he was just trying to be polite, but they're saying he was terse with a reporter.
What are you most excited to see tonight?
To see?
Yeah, well, I know that you probably watched a few of the movies. Are you excited to see anybody win? Do you have your hopes up for anyone?
No one in particular.
Okay, well, what are you wearing tonight then?
Just my suit.
Your suit? Who made your suit? You didn't make it.
I can't remember. My tailor.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to the tailor.
Yeah.
So tell me, what does it feel like to be in Glass Onion? It was such an amazing film. I really loved it. I love a thriller. How fun is it to shoot something like that?
Well, I'm barely in it. I'm in it for about 3 seconds.
Yeah, but still, you showed up and you had fun, right?
Almost.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Nadine in Dover, what do you think?
I didn't think he did anything wrong. He was just stating the facts.
Yeah, he was answering the basic questions. What are you wearing? A suit.
Well, her questions didn't irrelevant.
Irrelevant's a great way to put it. I agree. Like, if you're going to ask something, be going somewhere with it. Heather in Nottingham, was Hugh Grant being unkind? Was he being rude in that interview?
Yes.
He was. Now tell me why.
Just because I don't like how he was speaking,
But I mean, you thought the questions were okay? You didn't think the questions were just kind of blah?
Yeah, I thought they were very blah.
So how would you have answered if you were him? Did Heather just hang up? Unbelievable. So we're having a conversation about being polite. Heather hangs up. Welcome to New England.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Scientists say one of the largest seaweed blobs ever could wash ashore on Florida, at which point Governor DeSantis will simply drop it off on Martha's Vineyard. Billy Joel said he regrets 25% of the songs he has released, and if you want to hear a bad Billy Joel song, just listen to John Tesh. Today is March 14th, or Pi Day. My favorite pie? The number 3.141592.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what's going on?
We're starting things on a happy note today because Monday the 13th was rough, at least for me. How was it for you?
It was rough. I had someone hang up on me pretty angrily. Did you see?
Geez.
Well, let me ask you. Did you see Hugh Grant's thing at the Academy Awards?
I didn't.
Let me
no.
ask you something. If someone says to you, like, tell me what you're happy to be here for, it's just too vague of a question. The Oscars, right? What are you looking forward to tonight? It's the Oscars. There's a billion things you could be looking forward to, right?
Yeah.
You need to sharpen your questions a little bit. I thought you just, they went to the most aloof possible person. But anyway, I was talking about it, and yeah, lady hung up on me.
Oh, a tragedy. Having trouble making friends.
I didn't say I want to be friends with her, but what do we got going on in the Shark app?
So you can cuddle cows at a farm in Goffstown, New Hampshire.
You could, what?
Cuddle cows.
Cuddle cows?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be pretty painful to the person?
It's kind of like therapy animals, kind of.
But they're giant. They're huge. How do you cuddle with a cow?
You realize the cow doesn't sit on you, right? You're aware of that.
But
that would be very bad.
That's okay. That's good to hear. But I'm just trying to think of the logistics. What do you just kind of hug it from the side? Like you hi cow, and you just give it a big hug?
Now I'm just envisioning you doing that. It's making me exactly with that word. You just be like, "Hi, cow," just awkwardly petting it.
I will say there was a cow barn in Northampton, New Hampshire, where I grew up, and it did actually make me relax and feel better to just pet a cow on the head and say, "Hi, cow."
There you go.
So is that what it is? You're just petting the cow, but how do you cuddle?
I don't know.
Cow cuddling.
Yeah. The details on the Shark app or shark1053.com. I can't tell you everything. I can't spill all of the secrets.
I just picture when those people, those children going to cuddle with the cows or students at UNH and then they're tipping them. Imagine the betrayal for that guy. You used to cuddle with me.
That's
and now
just
you're
sad.
tipping me. Hey, be grateful for your cows.
Stupid college students.
Yeah, well...
I say as someone who was in college 2 years ago.
Exactly.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
How come we can bet on WWE matches but not Real Housewives fights?
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
So the people have spoken, and I compiled a list of the 10 New Hampshire cities with the best downtown areas specifically. And,
okay, cool.
But if you had to pick, what downtown do you like?
I just really love downtown Hampton. It's where
Really?
I'm from that area. Yeah. I was thinking about that too. That's a place where I wonder if I could live because they got some really good pizza places, a couple good, great seafood restaurants, the Old Salt, just delicious, great
Nice.
food. Galley Hatch is right down the street. You're right near CVS, Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, it's an underrated place. Downtown Hampton's really cool. But you know what's interesting? You bring up downtown. I grew up in Northampton, and that was always a raging debate that continues to this day. What is downtown Northampton? Because you have a parent that lives in Rye, I believe, right?
Yes.
So you know Northampton a little bit. I always perceived downtown Northampton to be Route 1 by Rite Aid. That's why I always thought it would be, by Ronaldo's. To me, that's downtown Northampton. But then I have other people. I had a teacher that said, no, it's the bandstand. The Northampton bandstand is downtown. And then I have other people that say it's the library, it's the town offices, it's Joe's Meat Shop. I live in a Twilight Zone area. That's where I grew up.
Jeez.
So what about you? Give me your favorite.
So I'd have to say Portsmouth for number one.
Of course.
But honestly, okay, I love it there. Don't judge me. But I will say there's something about Newmarket. I think it's so stinking cute.
You like Newmarket. We've had this talk before.
I do, and I don't even spend that much time there, but I just occasionally drive through it, and I'm like, this is really cute. I really like the big mill building they have in the heart of downtown. I would like to live there, but their wait list is so incredibly long. Please notice me. Hi. And now, well, actually, you know what? Don't reach out to me because now people will know where I live if that works
that's
out.
true.
So never mind.
My thing with that is everything's so close to the road. That's what scares me about downtown Newmarket.
Okay, but also, we live in New England. If you look at all these old homes and mill buildings, they're all like right up close to the road.
And they're all made of brick.
Yeah, the old homes are the creepiest, though. It's like, where do the ghost children play? In the attic or the creepy basement?
Why is it always ghost children with you?
This actually brings up an awesome story. So when we come back,
stay tuned. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Well, I filled out my March Madness bracket today. In the finals, I have UCLA losing to Everything Everywhere All at Once. Bruce Springsteen is battling an illness on his tour. In fact, it's so bad, he's had to scale things back to just 12 encores a night. Today is National Potato Chip Day. Only a day to celebrate potato chips? They can't have just one.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, you had a story for me.
I did. So I have a friend who her family lives in an older home. I don't know specifically what specifically it's from, like how old it is, but it's an old home. And I was getting the grand tour of it. And we went to the basement. And the basement is, at least when I last went there, it's kind of like a little bit of a creepy space. There's like a crawl space area. And
sure.
So like I'm immediately thinking, and my friend's thinking the same thing. We're just like, this is a creepy space. But we notice there's like a dusty old like landline phone on the wall. And on top of the phone, we find a picture, maybe like 2x4, 3x6 of it's a school portrait of a little girl.
Ooh.
Taken, and it definitely looked, if I had to guess, oh man, 80s, 90s? I don't know. So not insanely, not old necessarily, but it was a dusty old photo of a random little girl in the creepy basement of this house.
Aww.
And I looked at my friend and I'm like, who the heck is this kid? She's like, I have no idea. And it was just, we laughed about it because it was just so creepy. It's just like, you have the creepy little girl, you have the old basement with a crawl space in it where something probably lives at night.
You should track down the former owner of that house and say, hey, we got
Literally.
track down the former owner of the house and say, hey, we have a picture of your kid.
Probably. I know. It was crazy because my friend hadn't noticed it either. And it was her family's house. And I was like, who's this kid? It was so creepy. But that's my story. I just randomly thought of it, and I thought it was interesting.
You and your ghost kids.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
I call it March Madness. My accountant calls it March Sadness.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, we've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com and you have questions.
So a man led New Hampshire state troopers on a chase, but you're telling me it resulted in an epic mugshot.
Yeah.
Tell me about this man's mugshot. What makes it so distinctive that it gets classified as epic?
Okay, so part of me, the human side of me is like, oh man, don't kick someone when they're down. But you did leave police on a chase and try to take off.
Yeah, you get what's coming to you.
Yeah, and so in this picture, he looks forlorn. He knew he did the wrong thing, but he's wearing a shirt that just completes the image and completes the story, and it's done quite well. People have enjoyed reading the story and looking at the image. He just has the look in his face of, why did I wear this shirt today?
That is so funny.
I'm not going to spoil it. You got to check it out. Shark app, shark1053.com. I almost want to bring back the Leno show just to have that be on headlines. Be like, Kev, what do I love? And Kevin would go, stupid criminals. And be like, that's my stupid criminal. Take a look at this guy. I rest my case. But yeah, it was just unbelievable. I saw that and I said, that can't be real. But again, credit where credit's due. The guy looks remorseful in the picture. He looks like I shouldn't have done this. So, hey, maybe hopefully turning over a new leaf.
Maybe.
And we'll all get a laugh out about it.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Happy birthday to Mike Love of the Beach Boys, who turned 82 years old, which explains his newest song, Help Me Rogaine. Happy birthday to Twisted Sister singer Dee Snider, who turned 68. He was offered the day off, but he's not gonna take it. Happy birthday to Sugar Ray singer Mark McGrath, who turned 55. You can tell he's getting up there by the band's new name, Splenda Ray.
And that's your news on the 9s. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what's going on?
Well, we're finally coming off of that horrible storm, but we have tips for defrosting your icy car windows in mere seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a hack other than just
sitting there
frantically scraping or turning everything up to 95 degrees?
Literally. There is. And it seems like it works. It seems like it's a pretty nifty life hack. My current approach is taking my scraper and just chipping away at the ice and then frantically running my wipers while grumbling under my breath that I'm late for work. That's my current approach.
Yes. Yeah, you have to state to the car that you're in a rush. Shark app, shark1053.com. Did you revert back to starting your car before getting in it? Because remember we were discussing there's been a rash of car robberies, right?
Yeah,
People doing that.
I've always been scared. My mom has one of those remote starters.
Yeah.
And she is a big fan of it. She loves it. But I'm like, yeah, but that also means, I don't know if your car remains locked or unlocked when you do that. But either way, I'm like, if it is unlocked, you're just sitting there and letting it run.
Did you hear about these new trucks, though? I wrote a thing on the Shark app about this. There's these new, I don't want to say what brand because I don't want to get us in any trouble, but a very famous truck manufacturer has these new trucks they filed a patent for. And if you don't make your payments, they start shutting it down remotely.
Oh, my God.
So they turn off your air conditioning, then they turn off your heat, then they make it impossible for the windows to go down. And no, Megan, it gets crazier. There's even a way that if you ultimately fail and you just don't pay, the truck will then drive itself back to the dealership.
You're lying to me.
I'm not lying to you. This is a real thing. It's a patent they filed in 2021, and people just now started picking up on it.
I'm just envisioning it's Thanksgiving. You're on the way. You're driving to your destination, and suddenly your car just it
just falls apart.
It decides to do its own thing, and next thing you know, you're driving to the dealership, and you're like, "What am I doing here?" Or if it's 95 degrees, you just want to roll the windows down or turn on some AC, and your car's kind of sucks to be you, and then you get heat stroke.
If you're having a bad date, you just stay right here. I'll run in and get the pizza.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Anyone else pick Hogwarts to win March Madness?
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Event about Flamingo. Never mind.
What's that? Megan, what else is going on? I almost had you on the air again. What's happening?
I am so excited about this. So, Flamingo's Coffee Bar, with a location in Hampton Beach that I know and love, I'm a big fan of, is ultimately opening another location in Exeter. And I am a huge fan of this, and I think one of my girlfriends is from the Concord area, so she's going to be really happy about that because Exeter's definitely closer to her than Hampton Beach is. So I'm through the moon, over the moon, whatever the word is.
Well, I'll tell you, we're a couple months from now, anything's closer than Hampton Beach. Have you ever gotten stuck in the traffic in the Hampton Beach, in the Strip, during the summertime?
Yes.
It's insane. How long did it take you to get through?
I don't remember, but it was a while. I was seeing a show at the casino with friends, and we had plenty of time. We weren't in a time crunch, so because of that, I wasn't being too picky about, I wasn't complaining too much about the traffic because I wasn't in a rush.
Yeah.
But it gets bad.
Yeah.
But what makes this coffee shop in Hampton, and now Exeter, so awesome is that they have coffee flights.
What's a coffee flight? Explain this to me.
You know what a wine flight is, right?
You know the one thing I know? An ice cream sandwich flight. I've had that before.
Seriously?
Is this so it's 3 different tiers of thing that they bring you, right?
Yeah, it's like a little holder, and you have 4 little mini cups of coffee in it. Yeah, and each one's a different flavor. They have a Taylor Swift themed one, which I'm a big fan of because I love her. But if you don't like her, they have just general holiday themed
So they
ones.
have a Katy Perry one?
They had a Valentine's one. They have a St. Patrick's Day one. And the interior there is so stinking cute. And I will sing this place's praises till the cows come home.
Ooh, you said the S word. When Meg says stinking, she's serious.
Stinking, yes.
Wow. All right, Flamingos, we'll have to check it out.
Do the people know that it's your birthday?
They might.
If they don't know, now
they do.
So now you have to share. How old are you?
Thanks,
You told me off the air. I want to make sure that everyone knows. How old are you?
I'm no longer in my 30s.
Boy, so you're going to test out this next decade for me, and then when I get there, I'll find you on Facebook and shoot you a message and be like, "Hey, you're retired at that point." So
yeah, it's weird. But like I've said, I've been waiting. I feel like I've been waiting since I was 5 to turn 40. I remember my dad turned 40. I said that seems about right.
That seems about right.
Yeah.
Is that like the peak? This is where it peaks and then it's all downhill?
Well, now I get to sit on the couch and watch the national news and go, after I have a drink of my beverage. That's what you do when you turn 40, right?
That's fair. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. But man, you're still like, it's like I'm an old person now.
No, not really. You make fun of me, I make fun of you. It's just like a thing in our friendship.
We're both old souls. Did anyone ever call you an old soul when you were a kid? I was called an old soul, but then I realized when I got older.
People in this office have.
But with someone like me, I look back when I was a kid, I think it was just people's nice way of saying, hey, your kid, he's a real jerk for his age.
Yikes. I didn't get that as a kid,
No.
I don't think.
No, you're a nice person.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. Megan's so nice, we'll bring her back twice. March 15th can be a tricky birthday to have because, of course, it's the Ides of March. Well, when Bret Michaels, the lead singer of Poison, was on Rineman in the Morning, he had a very interesting perspective. Here, listen to my conversation with Bret. You and I were birthday twins. We have a March 15th birthday. And so are you
the Ides of March?
That's what I was going to ask. Do people come up to every time you say your birthday, they go, and how do you respond to that? And I mean, to me, all my life, the Ides of March. What do you say to them?
You know what I say? Every time I hear this, I switch to a different thing. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
We were also born on a day called the Heights, right?
Okay.
So I know Ides of March, for those curious, is A2 Brutus, is the you got stabbed in the back, Caesar stabbed in the back by his best friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the other side of that was a thing called the Heights. We're born on one of the only days, ready? One of the only days driven to succeed. So Pisces, by and large, are creative. Like, we're creative, but kind of really, a lot of my friends in March born Pisces or late February are laid back. They're creative, but don't have the drive to see it through.
Mm-hmm.
So there must be some magic somewhere in there that's true with the Heights.
Again, that was Bret Michaels from Poison. Happy birthday, Bret. I'm glad to share a birthday with you. And you know something? I feel like we're not the only ones celebrating a big day today. Let's get an update.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Happy birthday to model Fabio, who turned 64. You can tell he's gotten wiser because he now believes it is butter. Happy birthday to Santa Claus. He plans to celebrate by sitting on your lap and saying what he wants. Happy birthday to Red Sox broadcaster Kevin Youkilis, who turned 44. The team presented him with a bat and a glove and uniform and a hat and just asked him to please come back and play.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
It's Rineman in the Morning. Megan's back with me. How do you celebrate your birthday? What do you do?
I usually try to get together with friends, if any are around.
Yeah.
It's usually nothing crazy. It's just like going out to eat, something like that.
Do you invite them, or do they call you out and say, hey, it's your birthday?
I usually invite them. I'm not going to lie. I
Should I
kind of wouldn't mind if it was reverse, but also I'm someone who I'm always, the majority of the time, I'm the one who reaches out to my friends asking them to hang out. And I know it kind of sounds kind of sketch. I know for a fact that my friends appreciate me for doing it. They flat out told me.
Are you a birthday week person?
When the situation calls for it, yes.
What is the situation? What calls for a birthday week?
Like, if I'm out and about and I see something I like and I want to splurge on it, then it'll be like, oh, it's my birthday week, and it'll become an excuse.
Got it.
But it's more something that, I wing it. It's not something I consciously try to do every year, but if the situation comes, I'm getting ice cream and I could go full send and get, an extra large and, put myself into a sugar coma.
Sadie's already a birthday week person because her birthday's right around Easter, and she's figured out that there's always a gathering on Easter so she can parlay that into another birthday.
Smart kid.
Though, you know who else turned Easter into another birthday? Jesus.
Sure.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
It's classic hits for the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Shark, like the man himself. I'll be right back.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Rineman's 40? That's old enough to play for the Lakers.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Well, Megan, we've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com, and you have questions?
So you had nuggets of wisdom to share about folks who are buying a truck or thinking of buying a truck in New England.
That gets back to what we were just talking about. Yeah, it can actually can return itself to the dealership.
But what are your nuggets of wisdom about that?
I would say maybe pursue a different truck, but I would also say that why can't it go the other way? If you make your payment early, I think the truck should get better. Shouldn't it work both ways? Like if you take out a payment.
So you're telling me in the dead of winter, if I make my payments in advance, I can get like a nice heated seat to warm my tushy?
That's what I'm telling you. I think they should have it go both ways. If you're going to shut my car down, if you're going to shut my truck down because I didn't make payments in time, if I'm early, you owe me. I want to be able to like go up like a transformer and drive over all the other cars.
See, I'm just thinking of...
You have to come drive... the president of this company has to come drive me around if I pay my truck off in one weekend.
See, I'm a simple girl. I would like defrosters that defrost my car.
So you don't have to do weird hacks.
In an actual quick period of time. So I don't have to do weird hacks. Take a baked potato
and put it on your car overnight. You know who I worry about is... like when these cars are driving themselves back, like who's the biggest loser? The person who comes out and finds out their car left them.
I don't have any laugh.
Or like the person with road rage who's flipping the bird at a car for like 3 minutes before they realize there's no one in it. That's that's my thing. Who's the biggest loser at that point? Because it stinks to lose your car, but you can never forget that moment you had that you got mad at a robot.
That is true.
I had a woman call in a couple weeks ago. She was angry at her neighbors making too much noise. It was their Roomba.
Not the Roomba.
It was the Roomba.
Oh, the audacity.
The audacity. That thing sucks.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Prince Andrew is set to release a new memoir in which he will reveal all, just as he does when he opens his trench coat at a bus stop. Yes, a new memoir by Prince Andrew, which will likely be a pop-up book. That's right, Prince Andrew is writing a new book, which must remain at least 100 yards away from all the children's books.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what's going on?
We have a new ride that's going to be coming to Canopy Lake Park in Salem, New Hampshire, and I'm insanely excited about it. Not necessarily because of just this particular ride, but just because it's a sign that warmer days are coming, and I'm really excited to go back to Canopy Lake.
Can you give me a hint? Is it like a roller coaster, or is it one of the...
It's not a roller coaster. I think I'd probably classify it as a family ride, but it still looks fun for someone like me, who I'm not a roller coaster person, really.
I have to say that the roller coaster days are fading for me. I'm not as much a fan, and it's like, do you find it like... I don't know. I kind of like just to stop and smell the roses. A family ride sounds good to me right now.
I went to Six Flags with one of my friends last year, and I literally felt like the parent because I've told this to people in the office, but I feel like a 30, 40-something-year-old in a much younger body. And when we went to Six Flags, my friend was riding every roller coaster there was, and I wasn't going to stop her. I was like, knock yourself out. I was the one babysitting the bags, sitting on the bench for like half the day.
That's a good excuse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. It's kind of like the theme park version of being the designated driver.
Yeah.
You're the bag check person. And everyone loves you for it, and no one will make fun of you.
That's
such a good hack.
She was just like, do you want to go on the Superman? And I'm just like, I'm going to let you answer that question. You've known me for 10 years. Guess what my answer is going to be to that?
Boy, I tell you, as young as 10, though, the Yankee Cannonball over there at Canopy Lake Park, I was always kind of scared of that. Is that still going like it was, or is
Yes, it is. And you know what? I've never actually been on it, and I think that I would be able to go on it at this point, but the lines are always so long that I'm lazy.
Yeah.
I just don't want to wait.
It's just something about the fact that it's been around, it's historic, it's wood, it's right by the parking lot.
Yeah.
I just don't have the guts.
The thing that frustrates me to no end is I don't like the drops. That's what it is about roller coasters that I can't do. But
that's your controversial take.
Well,
I like roller coasters,
let me
except
finish.
for the part where you go down.
Let me finish.
Okay.
But I don't have an issue with going upside down. And I did that for the first time like last year, and I was like, oh, I can do upside down coasters. I just can't do the ones where you like drop straight down.
You like being upside down, but you don't like the drop. So
Correct.
Here's what you do. Hang upside down from a chairlift and just go up to the top of a mountain. That's the Megan.
That's fair.
That's the ride.
That's my signature move. Also
on the Shark app, shark1053.com, Boston news reporter by the name of Sarah Kanji. She works for WCVB TV, Channel 5 down in Boston, and she was doing a live shot the other day. She's, I think, on Sturo Drive, and she's got the microphone, cameras pointing at her, and a driver goes by, shouts something out the window. Surprise, surprise, it's vulgar. but it was actually kind of supportive. Take a listen.
3, 2, 1.
I love the news!
I guess that's a good thing.
That is the Boston compliment right there. Good for Sarah being a good sport and putting that up on her social media. And if you go to the Shark app, shark1053.com, you can see her reaction. It's very funny. And where does it rank up with all the other New England news bloopers throughout the years? Is it better than Pete Bouchard talking about his 9 inches while he's doing the weather? Bob Lobel's in there a whole bunch of times. Again, go check it out. Have a good laugh. There's nothing I love more than some news bloopers. If news bloopers were drugs, I'd be dead because I would never stop watching them.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
It's St. Patrick's Day Eve. Don't forget to put out some milk and cookies for Bono. A lawsuit claims that art by Norman Rockwell was stolen and hung on the walls at the White House. Said President Biden, Norman Rockwell drew Waldo? A new study found that the most family-friendly dog is the French Bulldog. The least family-friendly dog? Snoop.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what's going on?
We have a new ride that's going to be coming to Canopy Lake Park in Salem, New Hampshire, and I'm insanely excited about it. Not necessarily because of just this particular ride, but just because it's a sign that warmer days are coming, and I'm really excited to go back to Canopy Lake.
Can you give me a hint? Is it like a roller coaster, or is it one of the...
It's not a roller coaster. I think I'd probably classify it as a family ride, but it still looks fun for someone like me, who I'm not a roller coaster person, really.
I have to say that the roller coaster days are fading for me. I'm not as much a fan, and it's like, do you find it like... I don't know. I kind of like just to stop and smell the roses. A family ride sounds good to me right now.
I went to Six Flags with one of my friends last year, and I literally felt like the parent because I've told this to people in the office, but I feel like a 30, 40-something-year-old in a much younger body. And when we went to Six Flags, my friend was riding every roller coaster there was, and I wasn't going to stop her. I was like, knock yourself out. I was the one babysitting the bags, sitting on the bench for like half the day.
That's a good excuse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. It's kind of like the theme park version of being the designated driver.
Yeah.
You're the bag check person. And everyone loves you for it, and no one will make fun of you.
That's
such a good hack.
She was just like, do you want to go on the Superman? And I'm just like, I'm going to let you answer that question. You've known me for 10 years. Guess what my answer is going to be to that?
Boy, I tell you, as young as 10, though, the Yankee Cannonball over there at Canopy Lake Park, I was always kind of scared of that. Is that still going like it was, or is
Yes, it is. And you know what? I've never actually been on it, and I think that I would be able to go on it at this point, but the lines are always so long that I'm lazy.
Yeah.
I just don't want to wait.
It's just something about the fact that it's been around, it's historic, it's wood, it's right by the parking lot.
Yeah.
I just don't have the guts.
The thing that frustrates me to no end is I don't like the drops. That's what it is about roller coasters that I can't do. But
that's your controversial take.
Well,
I like roller coasters,
let me
except
finish.
for the part where you go down.
Let me finish.
Okay.
But I don't have an issue with going upside down. And I did that for the first time like last year, and I was like, oh, I can do upside down coasters. I just can't do the ones where you like drop straight down.
You like being upside down, but you don't like the drop. So
Correct.
here's what you do. Hang upside down from a chairlift and just go up to the top of a mountain. That's the Megan.
That's fair.
That's the ride.
That's my signature move.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets, so he is leaving professional football.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
So there is a Massachusetts restaurant that serves boozy shakes.
Really?
Yeah. And
now, the boozy shake, you come in with those every Monday morning, right? You have the boozy shakes?
Every Monday morning. I'm talking every morning I have one of those.
True. Yeah. Oh, that's not what I meant. But well, tell me about these boozy shakes. What are they having? It's like a milkshake with alcohol and all that? Have you tried it? Have you had a boozy shake?
I've never had one, but I have had boozy cupcakes.
Boozy cupcakes. Was he one of the clowns at that fake circus you went to in the parking lot?
Why do you keep bringing that up? It was one time. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I regret nothing. YOLO.
I just
as the kids say.
I just so badly. You know what I'm going to do for your birthday?
When is my birthday?
Because we were talking birthdays this week. Your birthday's in the summertime. I know that.
Okay, that's true.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah.
In July or August. I know it's in the summertime.
One of those is correct.
Because I remember your birthday is when I first started here at the Shark. But that I would love to surprise you with that. I would love to have an under-the-table black market illegal circus set up in the parking lot.
No.
Right when you pull in.
Incorrect. Not happening. No thanks. I will pass.
That would be the best. And just a bunch of dogs, one clown with like half his face painted, just grease from his car.
I don't know. If you have some of those boozy shakes, maybe that's what you'll be seeing.
Boozy shakes. Read all about him on the Shark app or shark1053.com.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Nissan revealed that the steering wheel may fall off inside one of its cars, but they plan to fix the problem by removing the turn signals. A company is selling jetpacks for $375,000, or as Southwest Airlines passengers call that, a steal. Spring breakers in Florida could be greeted by heavy blankets of smelly seaweed. Said the spring breakers, yeah, we're not too worried about smelly weed.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
We've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app or shark1053.com, and Megan has questions.
I actually decided to change it up just a little bit and spring something on you. So,
okay.
You turned the big 40 a couple days ago. So what I want to know what I want to know from you is, what are your goals for the next decade of your life? We're going to be a little introspective here. The two inevitable things in life are death and paying taxes, but the world is your oyster otherwise.
Well, paying taxes is my first goal right now, so that makes sense.
Nice.
Gosh, I don't know. That's a personal question.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
The people want to know the gossip. I'm getting it for them. Going to go to the gym?
No. I don't want to go to I want to do my own thing. Yeah, I'm one of those people, I'll do the workout. It's the drive to the gym that I don't feel like doing.
You'd rather hide in the Shark Tank.
No, you know what? There's still a lot I'd really like to do here on Rineman in the Morning, even coming up just this spring, this summer. It would be nice to write something for TV again at some point, if that's ever a thing. I wrote a whole bunch of things during lockdown, during the pandemic, like short stories and things of that nature that I just don't quite know what to do with. There's mostly music related, which could be cool. I guess the big goal for everyone in their 40s right now is to, buy a home. But you want to buy something you're happy with.
Yeah.
And it's a tricky time to buy right now. Everything's pretty pricey. It's a seller's market. And you know what I heard?
Uh-huh.
I heard that the average American age for buying a house, a first-time homeowner right now, 48 years old.
I'm not even shocked to hear that, to be honest. Yeah, it's true. Well, you'll come up with some, and then you got to let me know how they're going.
Well, hang out, because there's something I did right that I think we should talk about that might give some people some optimism in this area. Can you hang out for one more segment?
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
The League of Their Own baseball show ending. The reason it's called off? Rain.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan is back, because I am going to discuss something I wrote for the Shark app or shark1053.com.
I never left.
You know what I did, though, because I was feeling this, and I decided to write about it. It's 8 New Englanders, famous people, who achieved all their success, for the most part, after turning 40. And there's one that I forgot about, Steve Carell. I forgot how long.
My king.
Because he did The Daily Show. He tried out numerous times for Saturday Night Live. Lost out to Will Ferrell. That was true. They were in the last spot.
They're both funny, but I'd have to give it to Will, I'd say.
And he was just I shouldn't say just, because that's a great gig, but he was a correspondent on The Daily Show. But this is before The Daily Show was like giant and huge.
Uh-huh.
And he was, I think, 41 or 42 when The Office first showed up on NBC, and that was not a big hit right away. That show, if it were not for, ironically, the 40-year-old virgin, I don't think The Office was coming back for season 2. That got them a second season. Did you know that?
No.
That movie, yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what a fun goal would be. You know what I've never done when I was writing? I never wrote like a screenplay. And you know what I'd like to write one about?
What?
You're going to love this. The Devil Monkey of Danville.
You've got to let this go, John.
No.
The monkey's gone. It's not coming back.
Wouldn't that be a fun movie in the era of Cocaine Bear? If you had a bunch of people in a small New Hampshire town and you got a monkey running around?
You're looking at a very niche market, though. Like,
You're
I
telling
would
me
find
that's
that
not
funny.
an Adam Sandler movie? He couldn't be the fire chief that sees the monkey?
Okay, if Adam Sandler starred in it, you're talking big bucks there.
Yeah,
for the Sandman.
I'll just make a quick phone call. I'll have it locked up by lunchtime.
If you got Adam Sandler's number, you better give it to me immediately. I just want to tell him he's a cool dude. That's all.
I wonder what his voicemail sounds like. You reached Adam and you know what to do.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Sorry if I seem a bit grumpy. I was up all night trying to pass a Blarney Stone. Yes, the phrase of the day is Erin go bra, as opposed to my aunt, Linda go braless. Today is Friday and St. Patrick's Day, so if you are an Uber driver, you should probably wear a poncho.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
For St. Patrick's Day, we're talking good luck charms. Marcia from Dover, what do you do for good luck?
Cross my fingers every morning that the day goes well.
Hey, that's all you can do. Amy from Somersworth.
I wear a good luck charm around my neck. It's a charm that my daughter gave me. It's a necklace. It's like a sunflower. It's a connection thing.
Very cool. And what's your daughter's name?
Amanda.
Amanda, thank you so much for giving your mom a good luck charm. Speaking of good luck charms.
Now on Rineman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, what's going on?
So a Maine couple spent $2,400 on random people's purchases in New Hampshire. It's an act of kindness. Isn't that sweet?
That's very sweet.
A nice way to start your Friday. I feel bad because I've wanted to do like nice things for others, but like financially, I'm in a position where I can't necessarily be like, I'm going to pay for the person behind me, and then the person behind me has like 6 people in the car, and then I'm like, I don't have this. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's all perspective. Like, I'll tell you a quick story is that I opened for a comedian one time, and that day he was talking about how he bought a house for $10 million.
I wish.
The day I was opening for him. And then I got my opening pay, and I feel like it was something around for these 2 giant theater sold out shows. I think it was well under $500 for me doing a total of 40 minutes. And I was really bitter, but then I realized I kind of thought about this person's trek, and I was like, you know how he can afford that $10 million house?
How?
Paying schmucks like me $400 for $2,000 worth of work. So, yeah, it's all perspective. So you never know quite what people are going through to put up appearances. But I really like that this couple in Maine did that. That's the great thing about New England. It's real people helping out other people.
Exactly.
Can you give me one example of like something they bought somebody?
You'll have to go on the Shark app or shark1053.com.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Mets player gets injured celebrating, named an honorary Irishman.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
I asked you what you do for good luck. Who am I talking to?
Johnny C. from Exeter.
Johnny C., what do you do for good luck?
A headstand.
You do a headstand. Hopefully you do it voluntarily this evening, Johnny C.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Well, a sad scene to report today as the president of the Silicon Valley Bank was caught trying to steal a leprechaun's gold. President Biden hosted a St. Patrick's Day event at the White House, but it was canceled when he shared a limerick about a man from Nantucket. Krispy Kreme is dyeing its donuts green in honor of St. Patrick's Day, said 7-Eleven. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. That's why our donuts are green, too.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
So it's never too early to start thinking about Halloween because Haunted Overload in Lee, New Hampshire, tickets are finally, I say, as it's March. They're on sale for October, but they do sell out.
Yes, I was going to say, those go fast. Those go very quick.
They do. And I'm spreading the good news about one of, if not my favorite holiday, Halloween.
I guess it's because, as we've talked about before, I do love St. Patrick's Day, but I don't drink, so sometimes I feel left out. But you just saying Halloween just gave me such a warm feeling
Really? I thought that you were about to make fun of me.
No, it really did. Like, March is kind of a melancholy month sometimes. And just the thought of Halloween, just hearing Halloween made me feel good.
Yeah, fall is just like, every fall, I just feel this boost of serotonin flow through my veins.
Let me ask you something. If you had to pick a Halloween costume right now, what would it be?
Oh, because I was going to say, my friends and I planned what we were going to be for Halloween this year during Halloween last year.
For real?
Yeah, we're going to go as the cast from Rocky Horror.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I love the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I've never been.
I've been a couple times, and I've seen the movie like several times.
How often do they do it in Portsmouth?
The Rep does it, I want to say it annually or biannually.
Oh, really? That's it? I feel like they could do it just about every weekend and probably get a pretty good crowd, couldn't they?
Probably. They did it last year, and my friend and I went. Well, but I haven't gone in a while.
Free tip, Rocky Horror every weekend. You could be raking in that
Not
dough.
every weekend.
You don't think? Yeah. Yeah, Rocky Horror and St. Patrick's. That might be a little bit too much.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Goffstown Sports Complex deflates. Does Tom Brady have an alibi?
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
We're talking good luck charms on St. Patrick's Day. Richard from Portsmouth, what do you do for good luck?
I give my wife a big kiss in the morning.
There you go. Can't go wrong. Megan and I were still talking about who's going to go as who from her friend group as Rocky Horror. And Megan, just one request for you, okay?
Oh boy, what is it?
Be very careful before you ask someone to go as Meatloaf. That could be the end of that friendship.
Well, I'm pretty sure my friend's boyfriend is going to go as Eddie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I joked with my friend. I said, you should get your man to go as Frankenfurter. And she's like, I don't think I can convince him to do that.
Well, as long as it's the dude. But we are at that point where I wrote something for the Shark app, shark1053.com, and Megan has some questions.
Yeah, let's turn this around. So you're telling me that Ben & Jerry of Ben & Jerry's, everyone's favorite
yes.
ice cream brand, they made a 13-ton ice cream sundae.
They did.
And they had the audacity to do this before I was born, so I couldn't feast upon it?
It's crazy.
Heathens.
Did you see the picture of it? It's insane. It can be seen from space. But
wait, what?
Like the
Seriously?
No, I don't know for real. I don't know if it can be seen from space.
You said that so, and I legit, like, stranger things have happened, so I'm very gullible, so I would have believed you.
But no, like, if you were like flying into an airport in that city, you could see this ice cream, and I'm just like, what did they do with it?
Eat it? I don't know.
I don't know either. Like, it kind of got a mixed reaction. I guess it was kind of wasteful, but I don't know. But yeah, that was one of the big stunts they did before they were famous. Nowadays, everyone would be saying, fake, that's not real. That was back when people believed in things. What's your favorite flavor for Ben & Jerry's?
See, I don't have a favorite brand, but my favorite ice cream flavor in general, I like strawberry. And that is saying something because I love my vanilla ice cream through and through growing up. I was basic like that. But then I switched it up a little bit when I got into my 20s, and now I say strawberry is my favorite. What about you?
I would say cookie dough. And that was Ben & Jerry's big thing. When they were able to get that into a pint of ice cream, that was like a crowning achievement for them. That made them like their first millions. And if you want to see the picture of this thing they call the Vermonster, the most giant ice cream sundae of all time, check it out. The Shark app, shark1053.com. I asked you what you do for good luck. Amy in Dover, what do you do for good luck?
Well, I will go and buy scratch tickets today, that's for sure.
There you go. You can't go wrong. That's a New England tradition any day.
Absolutely.
And speaking of traditions, I mentioned how I like to watch certain movies on St. Patrick's Day. Maybe you will too.
I'm Charlie Butters, and it's time for your Friday Flix St. Patrick's Day edition. Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg star in the Irish mob classic, The Departed, which tells the incredible story of people who can afford an apartment in South Boston. If you like Harrison Ford wearing funny hats in a parade, you'll love The Fugitive. The protagonist is a man who disappears right when things get tense, or as the Boston Celtics call that, a coach. Amy Adams stars in Leap Year, when a woman follows her boyfriend to Dublin to propose. Because if anything says he's the one, it's when you wake up and he's escaped to Europe. If horror's your charm, you might like Leprechaun. It stars Jennifer Aniston and begins in Ireland, which is ironically the only place whiter than an episode of Friends. I'm Charlie Butters, and remember to keep an eye on the screen and a hand in the popcorn.